Welcome back to my seventh episode of my Zoom series titled After the Play Ends, Hanging the Cleats Up. This is the Zoom series where I get to interview retired collegiate athletes and pick their brain a little bit and see the struggles that they've faced since graduating college. Today, I am joined with Grace Cosgrove, who I played club soccer with up until I think we were 18. So we played together for a really long time, know each other really, really well. Grace, tell us a little bit about what got you into your sport.
So I guess my parents put me in soccer when I was 4 years old. I remember my dad coached me basically when I was in like rec and all that, and then they put me on like a competitive team probably when I was like, I don't know, 7. I don't really know when you join competitive, but whatever. Then I did that, and then that was when I lived in Pennsylvania, and then I moved to California, stayed with competitive soccer, and I actually stayed with the same club team the whole time until college. But basically, like soccer was one of those places that like you could just go and escape, and it just let me get out any like frustrations I had from the day, any stress that I had, anything like that. And it was just something I was good at, and
Yeah.
it was just like I guess you could say like my thing, like my hobby, my love, like it was always my favorite thing to do, and again something I was good at. And I knew like when I was applying for college, I wanted to play at a school that would give me the opportunity to actually see the field and still
Mhm.
continue to play and not just like um be on a team and not get to still play competitively, so yeah, I knew I still wanted to stick with it all 4 years of college as well. But definitely it's one of those things like it's always gonna be with me. I'll never be able to let
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Something similar to us too is when we were going through the recruiting process, we had the same mindset. We were like, well, we could
Mhm.
play at a higher division, but why would we? Like, why we
Yeah,
want to go and we want to play and we want to be like important.
yeah. I mean, like I see all of like people who play like D1, and I mean that's great. Like they get their treatment is amazing,
Yeah.
like all the free gear, all that. And I think that would be so awesome. But I knew me in the like who I am in the moment that I was at in my life when I was applying to schools, like I wanted to go somewhere where that would give me the opportunity that I could play. And I feel like with a lot of like D2 and D3 schools, they do give you that opportunity. I mean, not
Mhm.
saying like I'm not like a good enough soccer player that I like couldn't have played, but like it's not I don't think it's like as guaranteed if you play on like a I don't know. But I knew like going to the school that I went to, Arcadia University. I don't know if I need to say that, but I knew like that would give me the opportunity to still like prove myself and be able to
For
like
sure.
get onto the team. There's not going to be like 50 girls, like everyone like competing to get a spot. There's only 11 people who play. Like it was maybe more like 30 girls, that I had to compete against. So it
Hmm.
definitely gave me that opportunity to, to play D3 and be able to actually play the sport.
Yes. Yeah. That was super important to me too. And a difference between us is that I committed like March of my senior year and you committed, I don't remember,
Yeah,
junior year?
junior
I
year.
committed so early. So talk us
Yeah,
through like
so early.
why and that process and what led you to Arcadia.
So long story short, because I won't get into like my like life, but I knew I wanted to play in either California or Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania
Yeah.
is where like I was born and grew up like half my life, and then moved to California, whatever. But I still have family who lives in Pennsylvania. So it was maybe like I think it was my freshman year going into sophomore year, maybe, or maybe it was sophomore year going to junior. I don't really know exactly like the timeline. I want to say it was freshman going into sophomore year of high
Mhm.
school. Um, I was supposed to go to a wedding in Pennsylvania with my family, and um, my mom, we went there, whatever, to the wedding, and this where it was like 2 hours away from Arcadia. So my mom was like, "Let's just go tour. Let's just go see it," because like I never seen the school. The coach was talking to me, but I had never. I think I met him maybe like one or two times, like briefly.
Mhm.
But I didn't really know anything about it. So my mom was like, "Let's just go look for fun, whatever." So then I went to the school. I like had like a very very unofficial meeting with the coach, like just kind of like a friend to friend type thing.
Yeah.
And I walked around the school and then basically just like kind of fell in love with it and everything. And then I think like maybe the summer or maybe that fall after that, I'm not sure like the whole timeline of everything. It seems like so long ago, but I went to an ID camp there.
Mhm.
But when that time came that I went to the ID camp, he had already seen me play like a handful of times. Like he travels everywhere. The coach there
Yeah.
travels everywhere. So he'd see me play a handful of times. So I came to the ID camp just to kind of, I don't know, have to see me a little bit more in that atmosphere and whatever. And that happened. Still no like official whatever or like unofficial agreement to go there, whatever the word is. But then I want to say maybe like a couple months later, I went to, or maybe it was like the following fall, maybe of my junior year, I went for an overnight there. So I did that, stayed with one of the players. Um, and That's kind of when I was like, I got to do the whole experience of like going to class, like going to a practice or not a practice. I think I went to a game actually. And then um, whatever got to do exactly with what all the girls were doing and stuff. And then that moment, like I got to see like the behind the scenes of like how the girls
Wow.
interacted with each other, like how the coach talked to them in the locker room, like um obviously the game and how they played and afterwards and just kind of meet with some of the players and stuff. And it that made me like fall in love with it even more. Like the
Mhm.
team aspect of everything like was what made me like in that moment I was like, yeah, I want to go here.
Mhm.
And so I think like maybe like a week later I called my coach and at that point like you couldn't do anything like official. Like it was kind of
Yeah.
an unofficial what's the word?
I know
Like when you say
it
when
was a
you say
verbal
yes.
commitment.
Yes, it was an unofficial verbal
Yeah.
commitment. Whatever. But like oh yeah, it was yeah, you couldn't the written one was like later. Anyways, yeah. So I did that. Um my junior year, I want to say I think at that point maybe it was the springtime.
Hmm.
I don't really know exactly, but I know it was my junior year. That's when I committed. So that's like the whole like
Yeah.
long-winded version of the whole process. So basically, since like freshman year, I kind of like knew-ish where I wanted to
Yeah.
go. But I did tour other schools, obviously, during that time because I went back and forth a lot between wanting to play D1 or D3
Mhm.
or do I even want to play soccer? Like I went
Yep.
through that whole phase, like where I was like having a moment and I was like, I don't even know if I want to play, which like looking back on it now, like that would have been the biggest mistake of my life. But yeah, so I definitely still toured other schools, but when I actually applied for college, I only applied to Arcadia because like I knew that's where I
Mhm.
wanted to go. And so yeah.
Yeah. It's super interesting that like we all go back and forth between Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, like do I even want to
Mm-hmm.
play kind of thing because I did that and I know so many people do that and it's such a hard process to get through. But if you could give advice to anyone going through the recruiting process, what would you say?
Oh, geez. I feel like that's so long ago. Like I don't even know like what I would say to
It does.
them.
It feels like forever ago,
It
honestly.
does. I feel so old. I
Same.
guess I would say like just to like follow your heart. Like
Mhm.
don't follow like what other people are doing because I know like when I was going through this whole process like and seeing like not even soccer players in general, just any sport, people like getting like committing to like a D1
And
and
saying
then being like
Division 1 in their Instagram
yeah,
caption.
division. Yeah, like I committed to a
Yeah.
D1 school. Like I'm so blessed. Whatever, yada yada, yada all that. And now it's just like then when I posted mine, it's like D3, and I just feel like there's such a bad rap on like
For
lower
sure.
level, like lower level. I'll put it in quotes because it's like not at all like,
Yeah.
but like I feel like there is like such like a stigma behind that, like just the word D1 versus D3, you know? So
Yeah.
I think like my biggest advice would just be like, don't look at the labels. Like, don't look at it as you're going to a D3 school or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, it's not because it's not about that. Because you know, like so many schools, like I could name so many schools that are D1 that are worse than the team that I played for at
Mhm.
D3, you know? So it's like I don't think that really like um that means anything. I mean, maybe at a school like I don't know, like Stanford or something like that, but like I don't know, that's like a whole different story I think if you're gonna apply there. But like yeah, definitely just like don't focus on like the people around you and where they're committing to because that's ultimately just gonna like I think affect your decision and be like, do I really want to go here or am I only committing here because it's like a like known as a good school? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah.
Because like no one knew Arcadia when I was committing. Like when I posted it, everyone's like, "Where are you going?" And like
Too. Me too.
I would always just tell people that it was like in like I don't know if you did this with your school, but like I told people it was in Philadelphia, which like I'm still 30 minutes away from that. Like I live in
Really?
like a small town, so it's like I would always tell people like, "Yeah, it's right in Philly." Like 'cause people
Mhm.
know Philadelphia more than Glenside, Pennsylvania. So I always just used to tell people that. So I don't know if you ever told people, "Oh, it's in like Atlanta,"
Yeah, no,
just to kind of.
I would just say it's in North Georgia, and then everyone go UGA, and I say no,
Oh.
not UGA.
I know
That
the first thing I would
so
say is like
much
yeah, like the first thing, like when I'm like, oh, I'm going to school in Philly, they're like Temple or like Drexel or like UPenn. I'm like, whoa, like,
humbled that you thought
no,
that I was that good.
I know, like, thanks, I guess. But yeah, no, definitely that. And like, I guess as far as like talking to coaches, like, you just need to be like consistent. Like, I actually had a conversation with my coach, my college coach, who I don't actually like obviously play for anymore, but I talked to him last night. We talked for like 2 hours in his
Oh,
office just about like, well, I was actually interviewing him for a class too. But so then we obviously get on the topic of different things, but like just like staying in contact with them and like making them feel like kind of almost like telling them like where you're at in the process, because like
mhm,
we were talking about last night and like he was saying to me that like there's a lot of recruits that don't necessarily like keep them updated, which I think is just, I don't know, like a little bit disrespectful as well.
yeah,
But it's like you're gonna get out what you put into it. Like if you are seriously interested about a school, like you need to stay in contact with that coach so then like they can remember you and that you shows that you're interested. I mean, whether or not it works out for you, like you still show that effort that you like might want to go there, you know? So it's like, but it's like as soon as you like ghost them, it's kind of like, well, why would they want to kind of recruit you now? It's like you
mhm.
just ghosted them for a while. So I guess as far as like that aspect, um, that would be like my biggest advice for that. But definitely just the labels. Just don't look at them.
I know. The labels are something that like I think you and me talked about this a lot because we both
Yeah,
D3. And so we were like,
I know.
everyone on our team before went D1, big
Well, and
D1
I feel like
schools.
that's yeah. No, and I feel like during that whole process, we would always be like, oh, did you see this person committed there?
Yes.
And we're like, and then I'd be like, oh, like it makes you just like feel like
It
as
makes
bad as like
uh,
it makes you feel bad, and it shouldn't. It shouldn't
mhm.
at all, because everyone like playing college soccer in general
Still
is a
such an
big
accomplishment. Yeah.
it's such an accomplishment, like because the amount of people who quit sports after high school or even like in high school, like it's insane. Like not many people like get to this part. So it's like wherever you're gonna play, whether that's at a community college, you know, whether that's like there, like it doesn't matter, you're still playing at that next level, you know?
For sure. Yeah. And before I get to my next topic, I just need to remind the viewers real quick that this is my Zoom series after the play ends, hanging the cleats up, and this is my 7th episode. I'm joined this week with Grace Cosgrove, and I found this on the web. Oh my gosh, this happened last year. My watch
Siri.
just wants to be involved so
Mine
much,
does that too sometimes.
literally. So my next topic I want to transition into, now you're a retired athlete, me too.
Yeah.
Newly retired.
So sad.
I know. What are you looking forward to most now that you have more free time, now that you're graduating, all that?
I think just like what my other hobbies are.
Mhm.
Like I'm still figuring this out, and it's been like I don't know however many months since October, but like playing soccer, you don't have time for anything else. Like I feel like it
Yeah,
was school, soccer, sleep, you know,
that's
every
it.
single day. So it's like now I'm like finding out like what I actually enjoy doing. I'm still like learning because I still feel like I haven't found anything that like is my thing. Like I was telling Zach the other day, I was like, I like need a hobby. Like I'm bored. But like yeah, I would definitely say like just finding that. I mean, I've gotten really into like I mean, I've always liked to work out, but like working out and running and all of that is like definitely something that I'm like finding like life in. Like it's definitely fun, but it's like I kind of want to find something out of that realm, like the
Yeah.
whole like athletic realm and stuff that like still excites me. That I can kind of like fill my like time with, you know, and like I find myself now like when I'm because I feel like right now since it's like end of like gonna be end of senior year, like I have so much work to do and like all this stuff, like trying to figure out what I want to do after college. It's like I feel like when I do have free time right now, like I'm filling it with doing like things that like are just stressing me out more. Like I'll be working on an assignment that's gonna be due in like 2 weeks, and it's like why? Like
I know,
do something that
same.
you actually want to do, you know? So it's like that's like what I'm trying to find is like what hobbies do I actually like doing that can be used as like a stress reliever? Because again, soccer was that big like factor that it could, you know, at the end of the day, whether or not I had a good day or a bad day, I could go to practice and like
Mhm.
get out whatever was on my mind, you know? And so like I think like just finding that like outlet is definitely something like I'm still getting used to.
Yeah, it's really hard, and that's what I've had to deal with too because I've tried so many things. Like I've tried to get into climbing, but climbing is hard. And
Yeah,
like it is so, so difficult. And when I'm not good at something, I don't want to keep doing it. So I'm like, no, thank you. So like
yeah.
finding a hobby for me has been super difficult. And I think it's funny because you and me have gone into running at the same time.
I know.
When I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so fun because I used to think I hated running, but it's actually really like I like it a lot. So like we both got into it. We're both doing half
Yeah,
marathons. So I
I
think
know.
that's
Go us.
interesting. I know. So like that's been more of my hobby recently because there's literally, like you said, there's not enough time in the day to get everything in and then have fun. Like do something fun for yourself. Like
Hmm.
once you're working all day, homework, everything else, like there's like you have like an hour of time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's really
As much as
difficult
I
to
like
balance.
love to like, I love to run. Well, I didn't used to, and I'm still kind of
Same.
like about it. But I still love it. But like, I still feel like I need that like outlet where I'm like, because there are also times like I'm sure this is like probably one of the questions of yours, but like there's sometimes where like I don't feel like working out, but because I did it every
Oh,
single
I
day with
know.
soccer, I feel like that's like I
Like
have
you
to.
have to.
Yes, but like I don't necessarily always want to, and then I'm like, well, if I don't work out, then I can't release any stress that I have. So it's like I have to go and like put myself through this like crappy workout or a crappy run that I'm gonna do, but then it's not gonna make me feel better in the end. So it's like I need to find something that like I've also really gone to reading, so that definitely has helped
Mhm.
me too. Like just being able to like open my book and like kind of let myself escape through like whatever the story is telling. But then at the same time, I'll be reading my book and I'm like, I could be doing homework right now. So it's like everything I found, like I just have kind of a, and I think that's definitely something I have to like train my mind to do. Be like, no, like this is your time for yourself. This is your time to
Yeah.
rest instead of like making myself feel bad. So it's all just like a learning curve for me right now and trying to still figure it out. But I mean, it's only been like a few months of something that like I'm getting rid of that was about like 18 years of my life or
So
17
long.
years, ever so it's like it's going to be like a big transition.
Hmm. And I think that we're really similar in that way too, because if I'm not doing anything, I'm like, why am I not doing anything? Like,
Yes.
why am I wasting my time?
Like
And
why am I not being productive?
yeah, and I've had to like really talk myself and like talk like be kind and be like just relax. Like you've been doing so
Hmm.
much. And then when I don't
Hmm.
feel like working out too, I just go on walks. But it's also freezing,
Yeah,
especially probably in
I know.
Pennsylvania. So it's hard to just be like, I'm gonna go on a walk.
It is so cold.
Yeah. So that's
And
what
I'm
I
not a
love.
treadmill walker,
I'm not
so
either. I'm not
it's
either.
boring.
It's so boring. Um,
I'll like put on the Bachelor to walk if I have to do it on the
that's
treadmill because
true.
like I can't. Ugh, yeah,
Advice, put on a show, makes it better.
yeah, yeah.
So, what advice do you have for any student entering college, like about to play a sport, about to like get into the student athlete side? What would you say to those students based on your experience?
Uh, definitely like be prepared for like the fitness
Oh yeah.
aspect. That's like funny to me because like as much as you think you're ready, you're probably
No.
not. But like, yeah, definitely just like focusing on that. But like, I don't want to say like don't stress yourself out because then like you might not like work as hard for it. But like seriously, like at the end of the day, like you want to do it to make yourself proud. Don't do it because like you want to pass the test so that your coach is proud of you. Like,
Yeah,
no, like do it for you. Like,
for
so
the
it's like
right reason.
definitely like, yes, do it for the right reasons too. Because like to make yourself proud, you'd be like, I passed the test. So like I can show him that I want to, or I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like do it for you, do it for your team, especially. But like I feel like that's like the biggest thing. Like I learned from freshman year until senior year was like um doing things for not only myself but for the team.
Yeah.
So definitely like coming into school, like having that mindset. And it's hard as a freshman, like not to want to just like come in and like please your coach right away. So but just like don't lose track of like why you're actually doing it, like that you're doing it like for yourself and for your team because ultimately like he's not the one playing, or
Mhm.
he or she's like not the one playing. So yeah, definitely working on that. And that's funny just because like I didn't do that, but like
It's
I did, I
okay.
learned, but not at first, but that's
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, so that and like they don't lie to you when they say like you need to kind of like have all your like together.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could swear on your podcast, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like they like it's like for real. You are, you go into preseason like before the whole school starts and you're like, I'm chilling, like this is so fun, like no one's here, just like the teams and stuff, and like you're having this like grand old time, it's warm, whatever. And then school starts and you're like still kind of in that like fun mindset of like, oh, school or not school, like soccer is just so fun. Like I'm just gonna like hang out with the team all day. But it's like, no, you actually have homework to do. And
It
it's
gets
like,
real,
yeah, it's
real fast.
really
Yeah.
it does, and it gets like very overwhelming really fast too, where you're like, especially the freshmen, like I know a lot of the freshmen on my team right now are like I don't know, like I guess just like I don't remember as much because this was 4 years ago, but like just like kind of living through them, like they have so much to do all the time. Like they are constantly studying, taking a test, doing homework, whatever, like still like, and now it's off season, they're all lifting, working out, running, with all stuff. And it's like, oh my God, how do you have time for anything? Like, and I just think about it and I'm like, oh, that was me. Like, that's how I used to be too. I mean, granted, like my whole experience freshman year was different just because like COVID and whatnot, but like it really does like hit you really fast. And like you can't play, obviously, if you don't have good academics, like that's a big aspect. So it's like you can't just like cruise by and whatnot. So definitely just like staying as organized as you can, having like a plan. So most schools like do like study halls. My school, my coach didn't do one, but like take advantage of that as well. If like that person does have that opportunity to like have a study hall with a team, and just like definitely like don't sacrifice like your mental health for anything. Like that's like a big thing. Like I remember like looking back on it now, like I was so sad like a lot of my freshman year. Like a lot of it could have had to do with like homesickness and stuff because I was like coming from so far away and like didn't really have any like family and whatnot. But like I was really just like sad all the time. So like definitely just like finding like ways that you can like escape, like not through soccer, not through school, like whether that's just like hanging out in the dorm with some of your friends, like just like talking or playing like a board game or I don't know, whatever. But it's like definitely that because it does get so overwhelming with school and soccer that like you're gonna forget to like kind of have time for yourself. And like I think I definitely did that. And I still do that now. So it's like it's obviously not something I really like focused on too much, but like I'm learning, and I wish I did back when I was a freshman. And that's like kind of wish what I wish I knew when I was going into that is like it's a very like it can get very sad like very fast. Like you
Mhm.
can get very lonely and feel like you know, everyone looks like they have their lives together. Everyone looks like they're having so much fun, but it's like you feel like you're kind of like dying inside, and it's like, why do I feel this way? So it's like something just like finding like an outlet. Well, and whether that's like calling your parents and like talking to them for what
Mhm.
I don't know, like just finding stuff. And that's another thing too. Talk to your parents. Going into it, call your parents. Like actually do that because that's always just makes things better. But yeah,
Yeah. That's something me and my roommates have talked about a lot is like we've had some of our like happiest moments at college and some of our like
yes,
lowest moments ever.
yes,
And it's just crazy, like the scale of the way things go and how college is really like you learn so much. You go through so much in
yeah,
those 4 years, and
yeah.
it's just a huge
And I
amount.
don't think like I ever like reflect like I don't think I
Yeah.
reflect on going back to my like freshman year until like talking about it with you now. It's like, wow, I actually did go through a lot of emotions and a lot of change, and it's like crazy to kind of think back on myself freshman year until now, and it's like things I mean I still do some of the same things, which could be good or bad, but like I have changed a lot, and like
Mhm.
but it's hard to kind of see that in the moment. Like when you're a freshman, you're like, it's never gonna get better. Like I'm
No,
never
for
gonna figure it
real.
out and stuff, but like it does.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Really good advice. I think that that's super important to look back and reflect, and that's something I don't really do either. I think it can
No,
be kind
because
of
you don't
scary.
do it. Like you don't like. I don't think about it now. Like why would I think back to my freshman year ever? You know?
No, I know, right? Um, my last question is how has the media impacted you at all in your athletic career or your post-athletic career or any any relationship you have with the media?
Uh, I don't like the media. No, like I love it. I love it, but it's like what's the biggest blessing and curse. Like that's literally what the
Yeah,
media is. Like
I know.
obviously like I love it because I love being able to see like what like you, for example. I love seeing what you're up to and stuff. And like some of my other friends who are in school, and, like in different parts of the country, but it's like it has definitely like hurt my perception on my body image and my self-esteem and confidence sometimes. Like um just seeing like, I don't know, like other athletes or girls like working out and whatnot, and it's like they look a certain way, like why don't I? Or it's like they're lifting this much, why can't I? Or they're, they're posting all this like really cool, like, I don't know, picture, or like it doesn't even matter. Like anything that I see on there, it's like I'm always comparing it to myself, and it's like
Yeah.
that's been like, it still is, but it's like I'm definitely better than how I used to be. But like that was like my biggest like, but like insecurity was like what comparing myself to like what I saw on the media. Like I remember like during COVID, like when we got sent home, like, oh my god, sorry, I'm like kind of ill right now, so like I really can't breathe. But like um during COVID when we got sent home, like I remember like I got down like just like a really, really, really dark time where like I couldn't go on Instagram or TikTok or anything like
Yeah.
that because people would just be like posting like at home workout plans or whatever, stuff like that. I
It
would
was
literally
so much
make
of that.
myself, yeah, and I would literally make myself run, and like the podcast like Call Her Daddy, like
Yeah.
I would play that episode, and they're like long, they're like an hour, hour and a half sometimes. I would not let myself stop running until like that episode finished. Like it was so bad because it was just like I want to get myself to look like how these girls do, like on Instagram and stuff, and um like why don't I like look as pretty as them? Why like, or I'm not as skinny as them or whatnot. So it's like definitely like the media has like not been like the biggest like positive role model in my life or biggest aspect. Um so it's definitely been like a learning curve, and like I don't know, I still like am learning to like be
Mhm.
okay. Cause like at the end of the day, like it's not, that's them. That's how they look, like they're posting it, not they're not posting it to like taunt me, it's
Yeah.
like they're just
Everyone's
posting
journey is
a,
different.
exactly. And like that's something like I'm definitely like way better with now.
Yeah.
Just because like, and again, they're gonna look a certain way just because that's their genetics and
Mhm.
that's whatever, it doesn't matter, it's science, so it's like all that. So definitely like media hasn't really been my best friend. But I still am constantly on TikTok and stuff, and but I love the media for like to find workouts and stuff, like I literally get all my like lifts from like people on Instagram, because like um there's like a few girls that used to be collegiate soccer players that I like love, and
Mhm.
I'll look do their workouts. But definitely like not doing it to like, I'm definitely not doing it now to like get myself to look like them, which
Yeah.
I think is like the biggest change, because like before I think like I would do some of these and be like, oh, they're doing it, they look like that, like I'm gonna do that too to look just like them, and it's like, no, that's not what's gonna happen. Like, but like it's still moving your body, it's still something, like it's
Yeah.
still um gonna benefit you, but it's not gonna make you look like them, and that's, you shouldn't look like them, you come from two different parents, like, so that, but yeah, I love looking on Instagram and stuff for like those types of workouts, but definitely like my mindset has changed a lot. Um, and there's definitely, I feel like, a lot more like body positivity on there, and definitely like a lot more TikToks I've seen that like people are actually like normalizing things more and being like, and kind of just like talking about it more, being like, you every day doesn't look different. Like your body's not gonna look different or look the same every day, all that. So I definitely think it's talked about more, which I do like, because I feel like before, and definitely it's just like during COVID, that was just like my darkest time when like I felt like everything on there was just like,
It was.
this workout, how to get,
It totally was.
10-minute ads. I don't know. It's just like all these things where I was just like, oh, it was not a good time for me. Like I deleted Instagram and TikTok and all of that for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I definitely like still have a love hate relationship with it, but um I'm still always gonna use it probably.
I know, me too. And that's the thing too, is we definitely, I think the media has shifted from being super negative and to more about a
Yeah.
positivity to more like eat carbs, eat whatever you want. Like it's
Yes.
fine. And
Yes.
all kinds of stuff, which has helped me a lot too, because I think my like darker time was actually like last year, and I was like struggling a lot with how I looked, especially from like more muscular type bodies, because we play
Yes.
soccer, so we're not gonna look like them anymore.
Yes.
So I really had to like get that into my head. But yeah, same. I use the media now too to really look at athletes that I like follow a lot. Since like I have been getting into running, I've been just watching a lot of like runners and stuff, and that like
Hmm.
motivates me to run. So it definitely can
Yeah.
be super positive, but it really does depend on how you use it and what the algorithm is
Yeah.
showing you and stuff, which is dangerous. But
Yeah. Like same with like seeing posts about like what I eat in a day and stuff like that.
oh
Like
yeah, those are
that used to like
horrible.
really that used to like really trigger me, and like now
Yeah,
like I'll see them and it's like, okay, like you're eating, I don't know, way less than I usually do, or way more. Like I don't think anything of it now because it's like I'm learning to like when my body's hungry, I'm gonna eat. Like when it's not, I'm
right?
not. So it's like I'm not gonna follow someone's like what I eat in a day, and I'm not gonna let it get to me because it's like their body's gonna look different than mine. They might not be need as much food. Like I don't know, definitely like being an athlete, you
You need more
like working out as much
food.
as we do, you need to eat. Like, and that definitely hurt me in the past because like I wouldn't eat and like I would feel it, at practice or whatnot. So it's like in order to, and especially now with running, it's like if we're gonna run like 10 miles or whatever, like you can't not eat. Like
Mhm.
you have to. So it's like that's something like what I'm learning too, and like learning like not to just take everything so like to heart when I see it on social media because it's like at the end of the day, like they're posting it for them. Like I mean, there are obviously some people who are posting it isn't like it might come off as like you need to do this too, but it's like I feel like for the most part like people are just doing it for like themselves, like this is their like this is what I do, not necessarily what's going to work for you, and like that's what I'm learning.
Mhm. Exactly. Thank you so much, Grace, for coming on to my Zoom series and for talking about your experience and all all the great stuff that college athletics has to talk about. But this was my seventh episode of my Zoom series after the play ends, hanging the cleats up. And this was my guest, Grace Cosgrove. Thanks so much, Grace.
Thank you.